Alright, so today we are going to be changing out the blow-off valve for the EVO X. We got it in the box. We got EVO Fast Bits blow-off valve. It's going to change out the synchronic one that we have in there. We've had it since got the car, and it's having some issues with hold and boost, and started doing this which is not good because I didn't mean for it to do that. But we're going to change this guy out, change out all the vacuum lines as well with some aftermarket silicone ones, so we'll see how that works. We got some hoses. Got some more hoses. We got a bunch of clamps. So we'll see how this goes. So I'm an idiot. I had this guy flipped around. We're gonna give it a shot. We're gonna go for a test run, see how it works. I don't think I need to adjust anything on the top. It's already on fully recirculation, I think. Full recirculation. Not entirely sure, but that's how it's looking right now. We're gonna see how it works. I'll cut back. Maybe do a test drive, get some video for you, but I'm gonna go check it out, see how this sucker runs. Hey, welcome back. for you. It was the last scene for me. It's been about almost 2 months. So let's talk about this EVO. We put in the blow-off valve backwards originally, realized I was an idiot, flipped it around, put it in right way. And we were getting some turbo flutter along with just a lot of choppy throttle response, getting codes for running rich, running lean, just it was all over the place. So rolling back to when took a recent trip out to Fredericksburg, like last year, December, took a trip out there and had an issue with the fuel pump that basically took a shit and had to get the car trailered all the way back to San Antonio. What I ended up doing is getting a shop to go in, replace or upgrade the fuel pump to a AEM 340. Put that thing in and it ran pretty good, but then it ended up having all these fuel issues. It wasn't the fuel pump itself, but apparently there was some issues with the fuel pump relay and fuel pump regulator. So I had to get those swapped out, all set up with a new fuel pump, and got it all good to go. Ran great. Got it dyno tuned, which is super cool. We got our numbers here. Peak torque was 353.57, so that's cool with me, and it's got a lot of early torque as well because it's got a stock turbo, so it spools up pretty quick. It's not something that comes in later with a lot of high power. But our horsepower, peak horsepower, is 399.6, so 400. That is the number I was looking for. That is the goal for this car, and I am pleased with that. The thing's really fast. I mean, it's smoking for having like a stock engine, a non-cracked open to mess with it engine. So that's pretty good. I'm very pleased with that. My intention is to daily drive this at some point, so I don't want to be crazy numbers. I don't want to break parts all the time. I want to get it to a great running, good power, and just daily drive it. That's what I'm looking for. So so where are we now? We got the car back from the shop yesterday. Took it around. It still has a very slight turbo flutter, and it sounds like the blow-off valve. The blow-off valve is working, but it sounds like the blow-off valve, the spring is too tight, so it opens to relieve a little bit of pressure and then immediately closes again, and then you hear the turbo flutter happen after that. So I think if I release the spring pressure a little bit, whenever that blow-off valve hits, it'll close slower and it won't have all the pressure feeding back into the turbo. That's how I'm imagining it. That's how I'm interpreting it. We're going to do some adjustments on the blow-off valve, see how that works out. Then we got another big project that's going to be happening. That'll be its own separate video. It'll probably be pretty short, but yeah, we'll go from there. But we'll get this thing messed with, and I'll let you know how it turns out. Alright, after adjusting that blow-off valve a little bit, pretty much all of the turbo flutter is gone, which is awesome. Maybe at like really low RPMs where there's just a little bit of boost and you let go, you can hear a slight amount of turbo flutter, but that's a win in my book. I got rid of pretty much like 99% of the turbo flutter, so that's awesome. That thing was cranked down super tight, so I brought it back out, and it looks like we're all good to go right now, which is awesome. Next thing, I have a Mishimoto upper intercooler pipe, I think is what they call it. This is going to be swapping out this guy right here, which is a disgusting mess. Anytime I touch it, my hands just get destroyed and filthy. So I'm very excited to be swapping that out shortly. And it's going to make it look a lot nicer, neater. And then whenever I have to touch anything in here, I'm not going to get completely filthy. So that is the next step after that. That's going to be it for installing all the new hoses and stuff and the GFB. And then we'll be project complete until I can find a new project to do involving hoses and such. Sweet, let's get to it. Alright, hoses have been swapped out. We got our Mishimoto hose in, the upper intercooler piping, that's all put in. Our GFB is put in, installed properly, tuned to the way that I want it. We got minimal to no turbo flutter now, so we're all set with that. Man, we got the tune going. We got the fuel gauge, or fuel regulator, all set up. We got some other hoses installed, which are much better than the crappy ones that were there before. The hoses, they're done. The job is complete. But man, it took a long time to get here. Car had to get tuned and all the fuel issues and stuff, but I learned a lot. Especially about how the blow-off valves work, after looking super deep into it to find out why I had the turbo flutter. That really, there are a couple of videos on YouTube, I can't remember what they were or who made them, but it was super detailed about how a turbo actually works. Yeah, explaining how the turbo works was super helpful for kind of figuring out how to get rid of turbo flutter, and also looking up to find out that turbo flutter can be dangerous for your turbo if it's not built for that, or just, yeah, it'll wear it down faster, and I didn't want to destroy my turbo or potentially blow up the turbo and have somehow the bits of the turbo go into this guy and blow up that guy, and that would be very expensive, and I don't feel like buying a new engine right now or rebuilding that. I would like to drive my EVO, not sit and wait for it to be fixed again. Well, we're back up. It's looking great. I'm very pleased with how everything's come out. I can touch this pipe now, and my hands aren't dirty. I mean, this is dirty from before, but man, it's just nice to not have fucking black fingers, black hands, just by touching it or like messing with the blow-off valve. But anyways, yeah, learning about the blow-off valve, it was great, especially with how the turbo works and how the pressure gets basically tossed into this pipe and it's got to go somewhere, and using this little guy to sense the pressure of when there's a vacuum going to release and all of that. It was super helpful to learn, and once I knew that, just adjusting the spring pressure to loosen it a little bit, well, loosen it a lot, that completely, for the most part, got rid of the turbo flutter, which is like, it feels good when you have a feeling, a hunch, you do the thing, and then it just works, and you're like, wow, it feels good. It feels really good. Yeah, job complete, learned a lot. Have a good one. Learn something new. I'll see you in the next video. See ya.